if you're 16 to 20 years old going into college or university, I think the biggest advice that you will receive right now is that to get into trades. And it seems like a good advice, especially with the rise of AI taking over the job market, basically killing off any of the white collar jobs out there. But I'll let you know that I was once 16 years old as well. And the advice that was given to me is the same as what is given to you. The only difference was that the advice was learn to get good at coding, because once you learn to code, you get good at it and you will get a salary, a high paying one in fact. And this was the advice that was given to me. But if you take a look at all the computer science graduates right now, they're basically cooked because AI is taking over their job. And the advice that was once given to me is now being given against to students who wants to take coding, right? And that's what I want to mention is that we would never ever know what will happen in the future. The advice that is given to you right now is just things that sounds like a possible and good advice currently. So if you do not know what you want to do not get into trades just because everyone is telling you to do so. Just treat it as noise. And of course, unless you want to get into trades, you want to learn a profession, and you truly like, you truly enjoy the fact that you want to do it, then so be it. But the thing is that I was once 16 as well, and the advice that was given to me was to get into coding, which I did. However, for me, right, I actually enjoy arts and I enjoy creating. So coding in a sense allowed me to explore my creativity within the space as well, which is why I actually chose it. And with the noise back then or the advice, I was, not gonna lie, also persuaded by it as well to get into coding, which was obviously the decision behind me getting into coding. But the main factor was that I actually enjoyed creating things. So right now, currently, am I doing the things that is related to coding? No, I'm not doing the things that are related to coding. But do I regret getting into coding? I would say no as well, because it allowed me to explore my creativity, and also I wouldn't know what would happen in the future as well, right? Maybe if I had the knowledge back then of AI taking over coding jobs, right? I might have pivoted into something else like digital arts, right? And the thing is that if you do not know what you want to do currently, you can pursue your passion and use your strength into a skill that society values, right? So for me, I actually enjoyed doing arts, but because I couldn't really do arts in the first place, because it felt like a skill that was not valued by society. So I decided to do arts on my own, but pursue something that society valued at a point of time, which was coding. So for you, you can try to find a skill that you are good at, and then try to find something that's relatable to it, which you are able to pursue, and then you can actually live with the decision, right? Because if you make the decision to pursue trades just because everyone is telling you to do so, what happens when your job is taken over by robots? Would you regret the decision that you make right now, right? We wouldn't know what will happen. And the thing is that I'm not sure if everyone is telling you to get into trades because of the AI thing. It feels more like a narrative push by the elites as well. Because if you think about it, back then it was learn to code. Right now it's get into trades. Who knows what else the future advice might be? And it is always in in a sense that you must learn a skill to be a worker. You must learn a skill to be a worker. You must learn a skill. The advice seems more like a code. It's a code for you to get good to be a worker, to think like a worker. But if you take a look at all how the wealthy families live, right? Where do they send their kids to? They send them for lessons, music lessons, art lessons, speaking lessons. And the thing is that they're sending them into networking places, right? Right, your Ivy League schools and all this to network. The most important thing to them is not about the skills that they had, right? They're not sending their kids to learn to code. They're not sending their kids to learn to get into trades. They're sending their kids to learn, in a way, skills that brings them forward in terms of life, right? Learn critical thinking skills. They learn how to speak eloquently. They learn how to communicate with one another, which is a skill that you might or might not learn in college or university, depending on how you decide to spend your time. So if you think about it, it also seems like a narrative push by the elites. At the same time, currently right now, if I was to talk about the advice on you going to trades just because everyone is saying so, then don't bother. Don't bother listening to all this advice, because we will never know the future, what the future might hold. And if you still decide to go into trades not knowing what you want to do, then don't regret the decision that you're making right now. Because honestly, what you decide to do in life is what you decide to make use of it, right? Like if you go into university or college, you can be a loser when you graduate. You could be a normal person. You could be a high flyer. You could be a high overachiever. You could make a lot of friends. You could not make a lot of friends. You could do basically whatever that you want to do in college as well, because college or university is where you have, I guess, the most freedom to do what you want to pursue. And I think that would be the reality for most of us as well. So yeah, if you're 16 and 20 years old, treat everything else as noise. Treat me as noise as well if you guys do not want to listen. But anyways, I'm just here to give my advice. Thank you guys for listening, and see you guys in the next video.